know.
5 cases you owe.
Huh? Well, you still owe me 30 cases you owe. I don't have enough hands. How about that?
It's 25, Skip. It's 25.
No,
it's
it's
25.
30.
Yes, no.
This is Shannon Sharp math.
No, here it was 32.
Yeah.
Then I took 2 with the Aiton and the Suns bet. That's 2, so it's down to 30. And this 5 make it 25.
How did it get down to 32 from 45?
Because the old Giannis did it to the Nets.
What?
Yep. Oh, Giannis did it to the Nets.
I'll give you your day.
Okay.
I'll make you feel better. I'll drop it. What did you say to
25.
25?
25?
This is
it makes
absurd.
sense. The math makes sense.
Just absurd, but whatever. Okay.
25 is still
Don't
a pretty
get scared to
big
bet me some more
lead,
either.
Skip, so I'm not too worried about
Me?
it.
Scared?
No, not around here. So, Shannon, you said it was Giannis who was helping you out here?
Giannis.
We got to talk about that guy. Giannis and the Bucks came roaring back last night with a 120-100 win over the Suns. Game 3. Giannis, he dropped 41 points and grabbed 13 rebounds while also going 13 of 17 from the free throw line. Chris Paul and Devin Booker were kept in check by Milwaukee's defense, scoring only a combined 29 points while shooting 18% from 3. So, Shannon, please explain it to me. What's the biggest reason the Bucks won?
Skip, I don't want to minimize Giannis. Giannis was sensational, and I knew Giannis would be sensational. But he was sensational in Game 2, but he didn't get anyone to come along with him. What we saw last night is what we've seen over the last 2 playoff series. Middleton and Holiday played way better. Extremely better at home than they do on the road. Now, Holiday was averaging slightly above, a little under 14 points a game. He gave you 21 last night. He was shooting 14% from the 3-point. He shot 50% last night. Middleton had more points at the half than he had the entire game of Game 2. That was the difference in the ball game. Giannis is going to be Giannis. If you're not going to build a wall, if you say, you know what, we're going to take Aiton and we're going to play him one-on-one, Giannis is going to put his head down and he's going to get to the rim. Now, he did a unbelievable job last night shooting free throws. He was sensational. I got no problem with what Giannis did. But it was, Skip, what we've been waiting to see. The Bucks believe they have a big 3. Giannis, Middleton, and Holiday. And really what they've had the first 2 games was a big 1. Well, the other 2 guys came along. They didn't give you super-duper production, Skip, but they don't need that. Those 3 gave you 80 points, 25 rebounds, 20 assists. That's what Book, CP3, and Aiton was giving you. That's what Book, CP3, and Bridges gave you the first 2 games. Well, the roles reversed. Skip, we talked about this the other day. You cannot keep getting out-rebounded on the offensive end and win ball games. Now, they got beat up the Game 2. Phoenix had 18 offensive rebounds, but they didn't cash in. Last night, when Aiton got in foul trouble, because they're a small team to begin with, if you take Aiton out, not Saric, Skip, that Saric injury is coming back to look more and more.
I'll buy that.
Because they're really small, because you're asking Crowder to try to guard Giannis one-on-one at 6'8".
Yeah, and Torrey Craig didn't look right.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't look right. Skip, Giannis was spectacular, but if you're going to tell me that the Bucks are going to shoot what they shot from the free throw line last night, you tell me they're going to shoot 38, 39% from the 3, I'm going to say, Suns, you're in trouble. But I don't believe they shoot like that for the remainder of the series. But, and everybody says, it's a series now. No. The Bucks are going to have to finish this thing off on Wednesday to make this a series. Because if you don't win Wednesday, you're not winning 3 straight and beating the Suns. But I thought the two role players, and I hate to say they're role players, but they're star players. They're 2 role players, key role players, Middleton and Holiday, showed up last night to offer some assistance to Giannis. Giannis was Giannis. I mean, I don't know how much better he can play, but I tell you what, Skip, if you can extend this and make this a 7-game series, you tend to lean to the superstar. Giannis can win you 1 game in a winner-take-all. He's good enough to go get you 40-plus and 15, 16 rebounds and win this game. But I thought the biggest reason was Chris Middleton and Holiday. Giannis was Giannis. I wasn't worried about him. I was worried about those other 2.
I am hearing Shannon Sharp sitting across from me, who has been won completely over by Giannis. You are now driving that new Giannis train, right?
No, Skip. I told you Giannis was really, really good. I told you. You saw what he did against the Nets. We saw that. We watched him against the Nets, right?
The one-man show Nets. I saw what he did. And if Kevin Durant's toe, is it 1/10 of an inch over the line, we're having a whole different conversation. Because it'd be very possible the Nets would be winning this series right now.
They'd be going home. So because had the better record.
Yep. So still.
Yeah.
Okay, it is my turn. I hear everything you just said, and I will take some issue with some of your points, but biggest picture last night, bottom line, the Bucks at home were the more desperate team. They just wanted it more, and they just played harder. And all you need to look at is 20-2 in second chance points because they won the offensive boards 13-6. When you do that, you're probably going to win.
Yes.
And by the way, rebounding for the 3 games, the Bucks have beaten them on the boards all 3 games by an average of 6 a game.
Right.
That's a trend that should be very alarming to the Phoenix Suns right now.
They should feel very fortunate. They're up in this series with those kind of numbers.
Now, to the game that I witnessed last night, regrettably, and I did lose a bet to you. You did give me Phoenix plus 4.5 on the road, up 2 games to none. But I would not have taken the bet if anybody had even given me just a whiff of a warning that Devin Booker would go farther south in Game 3 than Phoenix is from Milwaukee. That's how far south Devin Booker went. He went so far south that his coach benched him for the entire fourth quarter of the game, ostensibly to rest him, to sort of take him out of harm's way, because it felt like Monty Williams believed that he was just going to keep missing jump shots in the fourth quarter. Whatever, I disagreed with that decision. We will talk much more in depth about that in just a few minutes here on the show. But if you had told me Devin Booker was going to shoot 3 of 14 and 1 of 7 from 3, well, obviously I would have said, no way I'm taking that bet, because this team does tend to go as Book goes.
Right.
And last night, this Book was banned in Milwaukee because I got to give it up to Chris Middleton, especially. In the first half, he was playing both ends of the floor because he took Devin Booker and got up in him. He was in his, so to speak, jockstrap all night long. In the second half, they started to switch off. And
PJ took about him a little bit, too. They put Holiday, well, remember, we talked about it. Put Holiday on CP3.
Okay, I got it. But listen, Chris Middleton said, I got him, and I'm not going to let him get a clean look. And he was bothering him in the first half. And once Devin went south, he lost it. He lost all his confidence, and he couldn't get anything going. He even had a couple lip out. And it was a disastrous night for the best player on the Suns. I know, Chris, you can argue Chris is the most valuable player, but the best player is Devin Booker. I predicted on this show. We did it all day Friday. Could he, at some point, win an MVP in this league? I believe he could. And we were already going to how close is he to his mentor and idol, Kobe Bryant. Well, last night, he was about a million miles, right? Okay, so that's point number 1. Point number 2, we'll also get heavily into this in just a few minutes on the show, but Scott Foster showed up as the head referee. And again, if you know the history between Scott Foster and CP3, it is ugly, and it has duration because it goes back for 12 straight playoff games in which Chris has played and Scott has been the head referee. Chris Paul has lost 12 straight games. You can argue it's in his head. You can argue it's tangible. Last night, to me, it was tangible. It had impact on the game because from the very start, Scott Foster said no.
He inserted himself.
Yeah, he did. And there are a couple of calls in the first quarter, but here's the most egregious. If we could just see this call on Jay Crowder. This is Giannis on Jay Crowder, and this set an early tone. This is at the end of the first quarter, and here comes Giannis across the lane and just flat out barrels right over. He just ran him over. And Scott Foster says, Jay Crowder, you blocked him. Foul. What? Are you kidding me?
That's a charge.
And I think that's when Chris Paul said, okay, we're out. We got no shot. And by the way, Chris just slowly, speaking of Suns, faded into the sunset last night in Milwaukee because he scored 6 in the first quarter, got off to a nice little start, and then he scored 4 in the second quarter and 3 in the third quarter, and it just went all to hell after that. So, again, if you had told me Scott Foster was going to be the head referee, there is no way I would have taken that bet because whether it's tangible or intangible, it is a thing. And it happened. It impacted the game last night to the point that there was one other factor. I also told you on Friday that our friend Lil Wayne was going to the game because he had texted me and said, I got tickets. I got front row. At the last second, he had to opt out because he had to shoot a movie scene. They're doing the remake of House Party, which I'm looking forward to. But he had a scene with Odell Beckham that he had to shoot, and they needed him to do it yesterday. And so at the last second, he couldn't go. So
you know who the executive producer of House Party, right?
Who?
Old Goat. Old Goat,
I thought you said you were.
No, Old Goat and Mav Carter.
Oh, that's true. They are. Okay.
We're doing big things out here.
Well, they are doing big things. He is
Spring
Michael,
Hill, baby. Spring Hill.
He's chasing Michael B. Jordan. We know it.
Do that.
We got it.
We about to be a billionaire at the end of the year.
Are you? Okay. Well, maybe you should retire and buy a basketball team. I don't know.
No.
'Cause you can't